shone down and the stars shone down and no one came. There he was, a little fir tree in a big empty field. Christmas, the world seemed big and cold and empty. Then, in the white and snowy darkness, he heard singing. Far off, he heard the Christmas carols across the frozen fields. The music grew louder and louder, and joy of joys, it came nearer to the little tree. And there, leading in the dark band of carolers across the snow, with a lantern in his hand, came the little boy. He was walking out to his tree near the forest. They came and they decked the tree with shining splendor of tinsel and hung red berries and apples and cookies on the branches for the birds to eat. And they sang the song they had sung before. "O Christmas tree, O Christmas tree, your greenest branches live for me." The end. And there's the little boy putting the decorations on the tree outside. I hope you like that story. It's a wonderful winter story and has a little bit of Christmas with it too. I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.